Takehiro Tomiyasu's time at Arsenal has come to an end. Very recently, Tomiyasu and Arsenal had a mutual contract termination where they have agreed to pay off Tomiyasu's wages essentially, and now Tomiyasu has left Arsenal on a free and his time at the club has come to an end. His contract was supposed to end at June 2026 with an option of an extra year. However, they just said to themselves, you know what, let's just call it a day and just mutually terminate the contract, and that is essentially what's happened. It's sad, it's unfortunate, it was something that nobody wanted, but especially because we know how much Tomiyasu can bring to the team when fit. However, if we were to look at last season, he was only able to play 6 minutes of football. He's 26 years old, he still has so many years left in his career, but in terms of the injury that he's had, it's very alarming, especially for what is going to happen to him moving forward, especially in his football career. But he still has a lot of time, and hopefully with the termination of his contract, he can rest, he can hopefully heal his injury and find another club and get back to playing again. Especially with 23-24, that was also another injury-ridden season for him, and especially with the season that's gone by with 24-25, 6 minutes, it's really alarming about what's going on with him. Now, with the injury that he's had, apparently it's a serious knee injury. He got surgery in February 2025, and it's supposed to be a timeline of around 5 to 6 months. And over the last 4 years that he was at Arsenal, he's featured around 79 to 84 times in all competitions over the course of 4 seasons. Now, if we were to probably do the math, I'd say in the first 2 seasons he's been very important for Arsenal. He's always been around the starting lineup, but over the last 2 years you'd say that it's just not been as good for Tomiyasu, especially when it came to his playing time. Now, the termination is unfortunate, but we're just going to look into why that may or be positive or why that may be negative in a way. And the thing is, with Arsenal, it's sad, but they had to come to a decision, especially what they wanted to do moving forward, because at the end of the day, they're challenging for the title, they're challenging for all the top major trophies across England and in Europe. So they needed to make these harsh decisions, these key decisions, in order to move forward. Now, in terms of the finance side of things, Tomiyasu was on 100k a week. Now, with his wages coming off the books, it frees up a lot of wages where they can possibly use the funds to get another player in. There's been a lot of links with Mascara, so maybe that might be an option that Arsenal go for, especially with Tierney leaving, on Jorginho leaving, and especially with Partey leaving, and the arguments of maybe Zinchenko as well. There are a lot of wages that are about to be free up, and it involves a lot of opportunities and chances for Arsenal to invest that in new players coming into the club. Now, in terms of the amount of time that Tomiyasu was on the treatment table, he was missing for around 690 days, and he's missed around 107 games for Arsenal, which is a lot of games, let's be honest. And if there was an opportunity to rely on Tomiyasu, we can clearly see with the amount of injuries that he's had, there was little to no reliability with Tomiyasu. I mean, he can be a good bench option, but in terms of him being in the starting lineup, it makes sense why there's been so much investment in the defensive line, especially where there's been so many injuries. Now, with Tomiyasu, he could play in multiple areas, especially in the back line. He could play centre back, he could play right back, he could play even left back, and there's not many players across the world who could be as versatile in playing in all of those positions. But I think for his time at Arsenal, he was primarily playing at right back, but unfortunately he just wasn't able to stay fit from his side. And hopefully, I think it can be a good thing, because with Tomiyasu, he can now move on and find a different club and heal his knee and just try and get back his career. It's unfortunate because a lot of players, and especially with Saliba, I think he was his best friend, and I think with a lot of fans love Tomiyasu, and a lot of fans had that romantic view with Arsene Wenger and his time at Japan, and he wanted to bring Asian players to Arsenal. And you know, Asano comes to mind, Park Chu-young comes to mind, I think Inamoto also comes to mind, and I think with Tomiyasu he added to that, and I think he was essentially a good player when he was fit. And it's going to be another what if story about Tomiyasu and what could have been, essentially. Now, in terms of some of the other things, it was an ACL rupture. Now, with ACLs, those are very big injuries. Timbers had an ACL, but he was able to come back. I think Jesus has an ACL on both of his knees, so that's another case for him. And with Tomiyasu, it's with his left knee. Now, in terms of how it usually works with an ACL, it takes around 6 to 9 months of recovery time. Arsenal thought it would take 5 to 6 months, but clearly it looked like that it was going to go into January. And I think they just made a decision on whether or not they wanted to let Tomiyasu stay in the squad and go into next June or next season where his contract was going to come to an end, and they just thought to themselves they didn't want to do it. And he's had repeated hamstring injuries, he had thigh muscle injuries, calf injuries, and he's missed over 100 matches in 4 years because of these decisions. Now, it's a big blow, but all I can say is for Takehiro Tomiyasu, it was great seeing you at Arsenal. I'm very happy you were able to play for my club. It's unfortunate what's happened to you, but I think the main thing is for you to get better, for you to heal your knee properly, and to hopefully find a new club and play football again. And I think that's the most important thing. It's sad what's happened, it's unfortunate, but football, these things happen, injuries can happen to anyone. And with Arsenal, there's been so many players that have had these sorts of injuries, and I think the main thing is just to essentially move on, heal, and get back to playing football. But yeah, that's essentially what happened with Takehiro Tomiyasu. Good luck to him. I hope him the best in his football career, and just to see where things go out for him. Anyhow, please like and subscribe. Hope to see you soon in the next video. That's it for now.